Hello, writers and readers. I'm freelance fiction editor Miranda Darrow, here with my weekly video about writing, editing, and the writing life. This week, in honor of William Shakespeare's 461st birthday, I'd like to take a look at the influence that one author, or if you believe the rumors, a small group of authors, can make on an entire language for centuries. So let's take a look at Shakespeare's lasting legacy. Some of the phrases that we still speak today. William Shakespeare didn't just entertain audiences, he reshaped the English language. With his knack for inventive wordplay, he coined or popularized phrases that have stood the test of time, slipping seamlessly into our everyday conversations, whether we're breaking the ice at a party or declaring that all that glitters is not gold, or lamenting that something has vanished into thin air. We're quoting the bard without even realizing it. Shakespeare's influence isn't just about his poetic storytelling, it's about his linguistic ingenuity. Let's explore some of his most enduring phrases, the plays that introduced them, and why they continue to resonate centuries later. Here's a list of 10 phrases coined or popularized by William Shakespeare. First up, break the ice, from Taming of the Shrew, Act 1, Scene 2. Ever been nervous about meeting someone new? Shakespeare had a metaphor for that. In Taming of the Shrew, Tranio suggests that someone should break the ice with the sharp-tongued Katharina. Today, we use this to describe easing into a social situation, especially those as intimidating as Shakespeare's fiery heroine. Number 2, all that glitters is not gold, from The Merchant of Venice, Act 2, Scene 7. Long before this phrase became a moral warning in pop culture, Shakespeare used it in The Merchant of Venice. The full quote inscribed on a gold casket reminded us that appearances can be deceiving. All that glisters is not gold. Often you have heard that told. Over the time, glisters became glitters, but the meaning remains unchanged, a valuable lesson in an era of social media filters and too good to be true deals. The third quote, a pound of flesh from The Merchant of Venice, Act 4, Scene 1. Few literary phrases capture the idea of relentless, unreasonable demands, as well as a pound of flesh. In The Merchant of Venice, Shylock insists that Antonio repay a debt with literal flesh, only to be outwitted by Portia's clever interpretation of the contract. Today, the phrase describes any excessive or cruel demand for repayment. Thankfully, we've mostly moved on from settling debts with body parts. Number 4, one of my personal favorites from my day job. First thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers, from Henry VI, Part 2, Act 4, Scene 2. This infamous line is often quoted out of context and used by those who are frustrated with the legal red tape. But in the play, the speaker, Dick the Butcher, is plotting anarchy. The phrase is not an attack on lawyers, it's actually Shakespeare's sly way of showing that the first step in dismantling a civilized society is to eliminate those who are duty bound to uphold the law, which attorneys are. All right, quote number 5, the world's mine oyster, from The Merry Wives of Windsor, Act 2, Scene 2. When Pistol proclaims the world's mine oyster, he means that we can take what we want, albeit he was doing it with a sword. Today, we use this phrase in a more optimistic light. It means opportunity is everywhere, ready to be cracked open. No weaponry required. Number 6, in a pickle, from The Tempest, Act 5, Scene 1. If you've ever found yourself in a tricky situation, you can thank Shakespeare for the phrase. When Alonso asks Trinculo, how comest thou in this pickle? He means, how did you get into this mess? The phrase stuck, and now we all use it to describe moments of trouble. Quote number 7, vanished into thin air. This one Shakespeare liked so much, he used it in 2 different plays. It was in Othello, Act 3, Scene 1, and also in The Tempest, Act 4, Scene 1. Shakespeare had a fascination with the ephemeral. In Othello, Cassio noted that a musician vanished into thin air, and in The Tempest, Prospero described spirits dissolving just as easily. It's a perfect turn of phrase for anything that disappears mysteriously, like lost socks or ghostly legends. Quote number 8, Wild Goose Chase, from Romeo and Juliet, Act 2, Scene 4. Mercutio playfully accuses Romeo of leading him on a wild goose chase in a battle of wits. The phrase originally referred to a type of horseback race, but Shakespeare gave it a new meaning, chasing after something that's hopelessly elusive. Quote number 9, A Heart of Gold, from Henry V, Act 4, Scene 1. When King Henry is disguised among his soldiers, is described as having a heart of gold, Shakespeare gives us a lasting way to describe someone as kind, generous, and good. The phrase still carries that warmth today. And 10, the last one, Method in the Madness, from Hamlet, Act 2, Scene 2. Polonius, attempting to decode Hamlet's odd behavior, notes that though this be madness, yet there is method in it. This elegant phrase remains the perfect way to describe an unconventional plan that actually, against all odds, makes some sense. Okay, so there's 10 examples of Shakespeare's quotes that still live on today, but there are more examples. But why does Shakespeare's language endure? Why are these phrases sticking around? Shakespeare had a very unique way of capturing universal truths, human emotions and dilemmas, and experiences that remain relevant even to contemporary readers. His ability to condense complex ideas into a few memorable words ensured that his turns of phrase could be adapted and carried forward. Moreover, Shakespeare's influence extended beyond the stage. The King James Bible in 1611 borrowed some of his stylistic choices, and later dictionaries and literary critics recognized his contributions to English. Writers from Charles Dickens to modern screenwriters continue to borrow from his vast vocabulary. Here's some tips for how you, as a writer, can use some of Shakespeare's techniques in your own writing. I can't guarantee that you'll still be quoted online every single hour of the day when you're in your 460s, like William Shakespeare. But if you want to infuse your writing with some memorable phrases like Shakespeare, here are a few takeaways. 1. Invent some metaphors that stick. Shakespeare's phrases often come from striking imagery, like a sea of trouble or break the ice. Play with comparisons that help your readers visualize the ideas. 2. Play with rhythm and sound. His phrases are often pleasing to the ear, like the strutting upon the stage. Try reading your dialogue out loud. Does it flow naturally? Does it have some alliteration? Does it have some rhythm or rhyme? Number 3, capture universal emotions. Love, jealousy, ambition, revenge. These are all timeless themes, and Shakespeare gave us words for them. There's a reason that these stories are classics, even though many of them were not original to Shakespeare. It was the way that he said things, not just the plot, that continues to draw the readers in. Number 4, embrace wordplay. Shakespeare loved puns, double meanings, and twists on expectations. Clever language makes dialogue feel alive. Number 5, create phrases that are easy to remember. If a line is short, rhythmic, and clever, it's more likely to endure. Whether we're calling someone a piece of work from Hamlet, warning them that the game is afoot from Henry IV, Part 1, or reminding them that love is blind from The Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare's fingerprints are everywhere in modern language. His ability to blend poetic elegance with everyday speech made his words natural to adopt and impossible to forget. So next time you break the ice at a party or find yourself in a pickle, tip your hat to the bard. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I post new content every week. So this is Miranda Darrow again, wishing you happy writing.